Shabbat Shalom. You can rise and face the door and greet the Sabbath bride. Behar Shalom Ateret Bala. Gam Besimcha V'Sachola. Tochaminei Am Segula. V'Ichala. Lecha Dodi. Likrat Kala. Penei Shabbat Nekala. Lecha Dodi. Likrat Kala. Penei Shabbat Nekala. Penei Shabbat Nekala. Penei Shabbat Nekala. Please be seated as Jeremy comes forward to lead us on page 144 in the Hatzi Kaddish. Jerry's, of course, with COVID, Jeremy's bar mitzvah was supposed to be last year. Here you go. And he shares the same birthday weekend as his grandma. And so we decided 2.5 weeks ago, or 2 weeks ago, I don't know, very recently, that we are going to put his new bar mitzvah together in a month. So tonight, it's his Friday night service, and Baruch Hashem, thank you to the Lord, he remembered most of his prayers. So you see, we stick it in there and hope it stays. So we've been reviewing this iteration, and he will have his official bar mitzvah at our next service. Mark it down, not the third Friday. We normally do the first and third Friday. The third Saturday, he will do it at 10:30. His grandma will be here. She's in hospice, but they're going to let her out, and she's going to come. And then, hopefully, we're all going to Rock and Brews. So I talked to them. I told them it's going to be like 65 people. We're going to take over the parking lot. And they're like, ah. And I said, well, don't you want the money? And they're like, this is a really good thing. So we're pending approval, but that's the plan. Are you ready? Deep breath in, deep breath out. Page 144, Hatzi Kaddish. Please follow along with Jeremy.
Yitkada veyitkada shmei Rabba Be'alma divarach yirutei ve'amlich malchutei v'chaye chonu v'yom echonu v'chaye dechol beit Yisrael Bagala uvizman kari ve'imaru Amen. Yehi shmei Rabba mevara ve'arom me'amaya yitbarach V'yishtabat, v'yishtabat, v'yitar, v'yitnaseh, v'yihadar, v'yihaleh, v'yihalom, shemei dekudesha brichu, le'ela, min kol birchata v'shirata, Tushbechata v'nechemata, damiran be'alma, v'yimaru.
Amen. Thank you, my dear. You may be seated and come back for the Be'ahafta. Okay, so now we are going to do our official call to worship, the Bahu. Please rise on page 146. Yes, you were already standing. You see, we're out of practice. Okay. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Baruch Hu et Adonai. Please be seated. And now we have our evening prayer, our Ma'ariv, our Ravim on page 148. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, bechokhma poteach she'arim. V'vuna meshane itim, u'machalif et hazmanim, u'misader et hakochavim, b'mishmerotehem barakia kirtzono, v'rayom v'layla, v'lel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or, u'mavir yom, v'mevi layla, v'mavdil ben yom v'layla, Adonai Sabaoth Shemo El Chai V'Kayam Tamid Yimlok Aleinu Le'olam Va'ed Baruch Atah Adonai Amariv Aravim. And let's read the English on the bottom of page 148. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness away from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Sabaoth is your name, ever-living God. May you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on the evening. Please come in. Welcome, welcome. It's great to have you. And now we have, if you'd like to stand for the Shema on page 152 and 153 or be seated, we are going to make that connection to the divine within us, the divine surrounding us. Our congregant, our young woman, Roxanne Sarlock, is in her final preparations for conversion. She will go before the Beit Din next Friday, and she'll go in the mikveh at the end of the month, and hopefully she will share her essay with everyone. But the Shema is the one prayer that everyone seems to connect to. It's universal. And everybody that ends up wanting to reaffirm their Jewish spirit and soul feels that connection to the Shema. So take a deep breath in and a deep breath out and allow yourself to resonate within your own being. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Adonai Echad. Adonai Echad. And now Jeremy will come up and lead us. Please be seated in the Ve'ahavta, which can be found on page 154. Page 154. So the Ve'ahavta speaks of transmitting this love for Judaism from generation to generation, which is what we're doing with you. And many others. So kudos to your parents and all of Emet for loving you so much. And me too, because I love you too. Are we ready? Okay.
Ve'ahavta
Everyone?
et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadavarim ha'eleh asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם. בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאור על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם, אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם אלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם, אמן.
Yasher Koach. Good job. Good job. Okay. See, even a pandemic won't stop a group of Jews. Okay, are we ready? So now we're going to, normally we dance and we sing and we parade around the sanctuary for the Michamocha, which is on page 158. Steve is really good about shaking his booty back there in his tushy for God. So if you'd like to get up and just woo, 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 please do. Michamocha, page 158. Oh, we're going for it. We've been vaccinated. I'm going to cry. Return to normalcy. Baruch Hashem. Dancing could be seated. Jeremy, you have to come back up and lead us in the Amidah. Yes, we're excited. We saw some people holding hands and dancing. So Jeremy, please come forward. And just so you know, we normally face the ark for the Amidah, but we're going to face you so that Jeremy's grandma can see him, his Shena Punim. And this is Lador Bador from Generation, what it's all about. Please come forward. We've already shared each other's side-by-side germs in rehearsal. So, there you go. Here's your microphone. All right. So please rise for the Amidah. And it's on page 164.
Adonai sefetai tiftach ufi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el HaGadol, HaGibor, HaNorah, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Vekonei HaKol, Vezocher Chasdei Avot V'imahot, Umevi Geula Livnei V'neihem, Leman Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshiach U'Magin, Baruch Atah Adonai, Magin Avraham Ve'ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechaye HaKol Atah, Rab Lehoshia, Summer, Morid Hatal, Mechalkel Chayim Bechesed, Mechaye HaKol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim Verofei Cholim,
Umatir asurim, umekayem emunato, lishenei afar, michamocha ba'al gevurot, umido melah, melech memit, umechayeh, umatzmiach Yeshua, v'ne'eman ata l'chayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh hakol, atah kadosh shemcha kadosh kadoshim b'chol yom, yahalelucha sela, Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh. Yasher koach, you are now finished with your evening service worship. Please be seated. You may take your book. You might want it to participate in the rest of the service. So Yasher Koach, we are getting there. May 22nd, everybody mark it down and please be here. So, Shabbat Shalom, everybody. For those of you who are counting the Omer, repeat after me. I know some of you are watching last year's recordings, and if you want to take a peruse and look, go on our Temple Emet YouTube channel and turn to the Omer. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kedeshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al sefirat haomer. Today is 41 days. We're almost done, which is 5 weeks and 6 days of the Omer. So in that 49-day period from Passover to Shavuot, on the 50th day, we are meriting the actual giving of the commandments, oral and written, at Sinai. And we have the opportunity, the greatest opportunity, to evolve our character and lay a new foundation. Because actually, Passover is the beginning of our real New Year, because that's when we were officially created as a people on Israel. If you look on the back above the picture that says Shabbat Shalom, that's the Sfirot that Steve actually did for us. And it represents the difference, almost like the chakras in our being, in our body, that we connect to. And we every week is a different attribute, and every day is a different attribute. So we put them together, and we come together with the 49 days. So if you've never done it, take a look. It's very interesting, I hope, for you. Shabbat Shalom again. This Shabbat is actually a double parsha. So sometimes in the year, this year, everything moves very early. So hard to believe. I've already been sending out emails about High Holy Days because it happens Labor Day weekend. So by June, we're already starting to prepare for High Holy Days, and for some of us before that. So we get double parshiot sometimes to help catch us up in our calendar. So this week is Behar, Bechukotai. And a lot goes on. A lot goes on that a lot of people don't want to hear about. And for those of you that are new to Emet, what I usually do with the sermon, I try not to do politics up here because there's plenty of that out in the world. But what we do is we take the Torah portion and we make it valid and real to our lives today in 2021, even though it's over 5,000 years old. So, and there's always something going on, and usually whatever's going on is in relationship that week to what's going on in the Torah. So in the Parsha, God instructs Moses to tell the Israelites that every 7th year, the land itself will observe a Sabbath of rest, total and complete rest. Fields will not be sown, vines will not be pruned. And then after 7 cycles of that, after 49 years, there will be a Jubilee year, and that will be celebrated when all the land, what's done, and this is an exciting thing, it would be great if it could happen to us with mortgages on the building, all the land that had been sold during that time should be returned to its original owners, and any slaves that you have, Jewish slaves, are to be freed. Even going so far as to give rules about charging interest on loans. Tune into Torah study tomorrow. Maybe Mark will cover it. Whether or not we should really be charging interest on loans. God reminds and instructs Moses to tell the Israelites not to make idols, to keep the Sabbath and the sanctuary of the eternal. And then God promises blessings to the children of Israel if they follow the law, and then warns about the curses that will befall them if they do not observe God's commandments, as well as discussing gifts which are made to the sanctuary for its upkeep, whether by conditional vows or whether by acts of pious gratitude. So this is actually very interesting. Whenever I say that there's a Torah portion that happens to relate to what's going on the week, in this week we're preparing for our upcoming annual congregational meeting. Most synagogues are doing this at this time. And it's a meeting where we look back at the past, we honor the people who have given of themselves financially and of their time and their effort and their blood, sweat, and tears. We call out a woohoo to them for everything that they've done to keep the synagogue going. And then we make a look at, we go ahead and vote on new leaders to lead us for the Board of Trustees, although I think ours are staying another year because of COVID. And then we decide what we're going to do with our future. Now, it's interesting in the Parsha that the number 7 is brought up. So those of you that do the numbers with me, 7 is what? Tov, goodness. Mazal Tov, 7 is Tov. So when we have 7, we have the 7 days of creation. So we're creating goodness. And then we have 7 times 7 at 49. It's even that much more so. So after 7 cycles of rest, in the 49th year, there shall be a jubilee, and then liberation for the people and liberation for the land itself and some of the buildings. Then the Parsha goes on to recite the punishments, which people don't like, for not choosing good. And then there's always the flip side, the yin-yang of it, the reward for what will happen if we do good. So we're actually being commanded to set ourselves up, not to think of the negativity, but setting ourselves up for goodness, for the creation of bountiful goodness, because we have free will. Going so far as to say, the Parsha is saying, don't worry, you will have enough. So think about it. You've got all these people, they've been working hard to tend their fields. They're actually not going to do anything for a whole year. So God is saying you will be able to rest. Every 7th year, your land will be able to rest because you will have planted seeds of bounty in the prior years that will pay off in all things good. This parsha specifically discusses what happens when we walk contrary to God. Now, this may seem antiquated to some, but really it's stated as, it's implying that when something good or bad happens, people will process it differently. If bad, it can be viewed as an accident, somebody else's fault, somebody else's responsibility, or maybe even an occurrence that's totally outside of ourselves. But then if something good happens, one of the rabbis stated, it is the common practice of many people to take credit for it, whether or not they had anything to do with it at all. Others were useful by not getting in the way, or at best, they maybe helped a little tiny bit. But of course it was they. They are the ones who saved the day. One way or another, everything that happens, whether good or bad, in a sense makes no impact and affects no change when we have this consciousness and we don't walk with God but contrary to God. This is actually being considered the precise definition of if you walk contrary with me. So the Parsha has a litany of consequences that happen when we don't walk with godliness in our hearts, mindful of all the gifts that we are being given, both good and bad, because even the challenging bad obstacles are there in order for us to learn, in order for us to grow. And the question is, will we? Our parsha states, if you walk contrary with me and will not obey me, I'll go on smiting you, and your ways will become desolate. And if, in spite of these things, you will not be corrected unto me, but you're still going to walk contrary with me, I, in turn, will smite you sevenfold for your sins. And you will eat, and you will not be satisfied. So this is much, remember the quail that we had in the wilderness? Like the quail that rained down upon us. We didn't want manna anymore. We wanted meat. Rained down upon us. No matter how much it came at us, it was coming out through our nostrils. We were not satisfied. So now we could be smited sevenfold. So the point is, what is it going to take to really fill you up? Sometimes you can go and go and go and go, and you're never filled up, no matter how much you want. So you kind of have to find your satisfaction within. So it's all up to us. The opportunity for good is within our grasp. So the question is, will we reach it? Will we reach for it and continue ahead with promise toward goodness? Or are we going to keep our fists clenched, holding back in so many ways? Are we willing to do what it takes Or are we maybe even afraid of having things be truly good? How many of you know someone who maybe can't handle things being great? Maybe get in the way of their own selves, let alone timesing that by 7. So what does it mean to walk contrary to God to you? So think about that over the Shabbat, the days to come. But here at Emet, especially for those of you who are visiting us for the first time, we got a variety of people. Some are very traditional. They believe in God. They believe in the traditions, steadfast adherence to Adonai. Others are more secular. They like the cultural aspects of Judaism and the connection that's found in our community and going out to dinner and we're going on a safari Africa trip next year. And then there's others that are just more secular and they just enjoy, like I said, being out there, doing their own thing, but they know they're Jewish and that works for them. And then we have others that still are not even Jewish at all, but they're here to support their family, their friends, or maybe when they're in this building and with our community, they actually just feel like they're home. As for walking contrary with God, I don't think we have an issue with this. I hope you agree, here at Temple Emet, because what did we do? We built a Mishkan Tefillah. We built a dwelling place for God to dwell within this physical space with us, just like what happened thousands of years ago when they had to build the tabernacle. So how many people can say that in this day and age? They've built a synagogue. And that's what we've done. So the question is, will the intention, the sacrifice, the purity of purpose validate our actions and bring us favor on high and a legacy for all time? We have choices that we make day by day, minute by minute. We make choices all the time. And they lead us down paths toward redemption and growth or away from our center and what truly matters. So the question is, will we covet the golden calf or give to support the one true God and all that is holy and truly lasting for all time? Will we look at ourselves, our life, and see that we are connected to all that is good and pure, sharing our highest and best self with others? That whatever road we take in life leads to the ongoing journey of our soul, which is continually unfolding with enhanced opportunities to grow. So the question is, will we? Will we take those opportunities? Will the choices that we make in our perception of the good and the bad, which has happened in our lives, actually have an impact? Will they bring us closer to God with charity in our hearts and minds? Not just financial. I'm not just talking about money. I'm talking about spiritually as well. Will we choose to walk contrary to God, with God, or just simply connected to the God force that's inside each and every one of us? And how will we define what that looks like for us? They say that charity begins at home. So let us ask, are we kind? Are we giving in all ways, not just to others, but to ourselves as well? Do we give with full hearts, arms and hands open wide? Or do we go through life clenching our fists, struggling to hang on to every single thing that we have, even things we may not need? Do we think about what matters most, and do we support that? Or do we go ahead through life and we're just taking, and we're not really paying attention to whether we actually want it or need it, and will it make a difference, and will it matter one day when we're gone? Will we leave a portion of our field not only to rest, but for those in need, and free those that are enslaved so that all can be considered equal, and that maybe the playing field will be a little more level, so we can all at least walk upright with our heads held high, knowing that we have done our best and that the world will be better for our having been here. Able to walk with God in the light of day and bask in the glory that is here for all of us. Will we trust that if we do good, then actually good will follow, maybe sevenfold? Or will we abandon ideals and plans, feeling defeated before we even start? Do we have what it takes to truly sacrifice, give, and or work hard so that the upcoming period will be bountiful, that we will plant those seeds for a future time? COVID placed us all in a period of enforced rest. Yet many never worked harder in their lives, whether they were serving on the front lines, in the supermarkets, delivering to us from Amazon, delivering our groceries, figuring out how to work at home, how to keep their businesses going, themselves, families, and even relationships vibrant and alive. As we go forward into our collective future as a synagogue and one humanity, brothers and sisters of all faiths recovering from this plague of COVID, may our time during this past period serve us well. May the lessons that we've learned in our time spent make us all worthy. May we be open, mindful, and really ready to have it be good. Are you ready to have it be good? Yes. May we continue to plant seeds that will allow periods of rest for bounty to follow. And may we be truly giving in all ways so that our thoughts and our deeds are in alignment with the Almighty. A blessing to us all. Ken Yehi Ratzon, may be God's will. Shabbat Shalom. So, now we are going to take all of our collective energy and send prayers of healing out into the universe for those that need it. If you'll turn to page 371. So we're going to ask for a refuah shlema, a complete healing of body, mind, and spirit. And if you have somebody that you want to send this prayer to, we really need to send it out to the entire world. But feel free to stand or sit, but bring them in your mind's eye, into your heart, into your soul. Say their names to yourself quietly as the music is being played. So if you want to stand and say their names or you just want to be seated, we're going to start right now. So take a deep breath in. See your loved ones and say their names out loud to yourself or all at the same time. And then we'll prepare for the Misha Barak on page 371. Misha Barak Avoteinu Mekor Avraham. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, And now, if everybody else would like to rise as we open up the Ark for the Aleinu on page 586, it's the bottom paragraph. And then it continues on the next couple of pages. So page 586, as we begin to wrap up our service and move towards Kaddish. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'tei gedula l'yotzer b'reshit, shelo asanu kegoyei haratzot, velo somanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, v'gor aleinu kechol hamonam, v'anachnu korin, ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד הארץ, ומשיב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינת זו בגבהי מרומים, הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו, כך כתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום והשבות אל לבבך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל, והארץ מתחת עינות, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד. Please be seated. And so now we're going to move to the Mourner's Kaddish on page 598. And I know that many of you have probably gotten the notice for the Mother's Day service for Hillside. It's a memorial service. Normally, I've done it many times. It's at the cemetery. I actually had some people emailing me asking me what time I was going to be there because they'd rather be there in person. I'm not in charge. Hillside wants it online. So we do remember all of the women in our lives on this weekend who have made us who we are, and we give a shout out to them for their goodness that enriched our lives. And if you have somebody that you've lost, male or female, in the last week, would you please rise and say their names? Anybody in the last 7 days? In the last 30 days, the Shloshim period. Anybody here out in the world who can say their names? In the last 11 months, if you've lost someone, please rise and say their names, Joy. Okay. Stay standing if you want, or sit. Pat. Anybody else? And if you're observing a yard site, Bella Forster as well, and from our community, if you're observing a yard site, please raise your hand in case you're already standing. Yard site, Wendy?
My husband, Gary Wainwright.
Sandra?
My mother, Lily Michelle. My aunt, Louise LeClaire. And a dear friend, Dennis Stone.
Please.
Cheryl passed away.
Anybody? Amy?
Susie Bromowitz.
Anybody else? Hilda, anybody else? You got anyone else? Okay. Together, we rise as one community, and we ask that their souls be elevated on high. For those of you out in the cyberspace world as well, for acknowledging those that you've loved and lost. And we ask that everyone be given, especially those as well who have been moved into the spiritual realm throughout our world, as we bless them with the Kaddish and the divine as well. So I'll raise my hand. When I say V'Maru, you can say Amen, get the merit of the whole text, even at home if you don't have a book. Yikadal v'yikadash shemei Rabba, ve'alma divara achirute, ve'amlich malchute, v'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayeh d'chol beit Yisrael, v'agala v'zman karib imru. Yehei shemei Rabba, mevarach le'olam lo me'amaya. Yit barach, v'yishtabach, v'yit pa'ar, v'yit romam, v'yit naseh, v'yit hadar, v'yit alev, v'yit halal, shemei d'kudishah b'reichum. Le'ela minko birchata v'shirata tushvechata v'nechemata da'amiran be'elma v'imru. Yehei sholama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'el kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. O se shalom b'imromav hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'el kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. May God, who is the author of life and death, grant eternal rest and perfect peace to our loved ones in the heavenly realm. Peace to those of you who are fresh with mourning and grief or observing a yard site, and peace to all the world as together we say, Amen. Please be seated as we have some announcements from our president, Diana.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Welcome to you all. It's so nice to see everyone tonight. It's beginning to feel a lot like wrong melody.
Shabbos.
Sorry. Well, it's not exactly like normal. After all, we're pretty inclusive. But anyway, it's a start, and we're on our way, and that's good. If you are new to us tonight, or if you have brought someone new tonight, would you please stand and introduce yourselves? Please. I want to say hello to you and welcome you.
We all do.
Welcome, Gail. Welcome, Lori. Welcome, Lori. Leah Flores, welcome. Judy Evans, welcome. Please come and say hello to us after, and I hope you'll all join us at the Red Onion because we get a chance to talk. Thank you so much.
Wait, Diana Harriet is motioning to you.
Oh, Judy's daughter, Stacy. Hi, Stacy. I knew there was somebody missing. Okay. Now, thank you so much, Rabbi Cantor Didi, for another beautiful service. And thank you, Dan Spector, and your talented musical group, Marianne Rothstein on violin, Hilda Weintraub on harp, and Amy Wolf on baritone ukulele. And thanks always to Mark Tannen and Andrew Liu. I hope the live stream is working. We had some trouble before. I hope it's working now.
Let us pray.
Yeah. Let us pray is right. Okay, our flowers tonight are sponsored by the Engel family in honor of Jeremy's upcoming bar mitzvah. Oh, we are waiting for that. Yes, we are. And our service tonight is sponsored by Temple Emet in honor of all the mothers in our congregation. The Sunday is May 9th, and it's Mother's Day, and Rabbi Cantor Didi and her daughter Alyssa will be co-leading the service hosted by Hillside. Now, it's on your email, and there's a link, and you can watch it anytime after 9 a.m. on Sunday, May 9th. And Dan Spector and Marianne Rothstein and Hilda Weintraub will be providing the music, so that's great, and we hope you'll join us. Now, as you know by now, our service tonight is going to be followed by dinner at the Red Onion. And it's a kind of delayed Cinco de Mayo thing, replacing our taco truck, which we used to have, getting close to normal, but anyway. The address is 736 Bardare Way on Silver Spur Road off Crenshaw Boulevard. And we have a reservation, and there are 28 people coming, I believe, but we still have a couple of room for more. If you want to sit indoors, we have one table for 6, and my family is going to be sitting inside. The rest, we have 2 tables of 12 outdoors in the parking lot with the heaters and the tents. So if you have a craving to sit inside, we have room for 2 more people, okay? So let me know if you want to sit inside. If not, I'll come out and say hello to you, but we will be, Tony and I and Jimmy, and maybe Amy, I don't know, we'll be sitting inside. Okay. Well, of course you're going to be outside.
Hardy with them.
Okay, we have a very, very busy week coming up. Wednesday, May 12th at 12:30, our monthly lunch bunch will be meeting at the Pan Restaurant on Pacific Coast Highway in Oak. Outdoors, great food, and we do need to reserve. We have 14 coming so far. So if you want to come and you haven't told us you want to go, please let me know. Thursday, May 13th at 7:30 p.m. is our very important annual congregation meeting. We'll be here in our building, but also can be watched on our YouTube live stream. Either in real time or later, we will be taking a very, very important vote. And the votes will not be counted until Sunday, May 16 at 5 p.m. to give those who cannot come in person, who are watching it on live stream, a chance to vote. You can vote by calling me at 310-990-2248.
It just went to the whole world, Diana, just so you know.
I don't care. The
You'll
whole
be
world
very
is going to
popular.
text me and say, what kind of vote? Are we voting for president again? No. Anyway,
because you're going to stay president for the
I'm
next
going to
10
stay
years.
president forever. Sure, she, give me your lips to God's ears. Okay. This week, you should have received by email a copy of last year's congregation meeting minutes as well as the agenda for the meeting. If you did not receive it, please let me know. Okay, hopefully you got it. There's a link on, you'll see agenda link and it will say minutes link. If you click on that link, it'll bring up the minutes, it'll bring up the agenda. Now, if you see no additions or corrections needed, fine. If you do see some needed corrections, please let me know as soon as possible. If we hear no need for corrections, the minutes will be accepted as read at the meeting. Okay? Got that? I'm going to give you a test, so make sure you've got it. All right. Now, our next Shabbat, as you already know by now, as our next Shabbat service is going to be not Friday, the 21st, but 22nd on Saturday. Because we've been waiting a long time for Jeremy to get his act together. No, it's not your fault. I wasn't going to blame you for COVID, I promise. I have to tell you, listening to Jeremy tonight, I hear his deep voice. He didn't have that before. I thought, oh, everybody grows up. Okay. Well, we're really looking forward to that. And we are probably going to Rock and Brews. We'll find out soon.
Yeah, pretty much so.
Afterwards. So please let us know if you are coming. We hope you'll all be there because how else are we going to celebrate? Oh, we have to celebrate. It's about time. Okay, Mark Tannen's Torah study on Zoom continues on Saturday morning after our Friday service at 9:30. Look for the link. Dan, when is our next music meeting?
20th.
May 20th. There will be a link coming out for all of those who love Dan's music class on Zoom. It's so good. I love it.
It's a music appreciation. For those
You're
who
actually
don't-
going to have to do
it's
this
not like you're
forever.
not
You know
learning an
this. We're never going to let you stop. Okay. The Sisterhood Book Club is meeting, and it might actually be for the last time, unless some of you get your act together and let us know you want to do it. We're reading The Jewish Pirates of the Caribbean by Edward Kritzler. Sounds interesting. I haven't started reading it myself yet because I'm too busy reading Michelle Obama's book, but I'll get to it. If we don't have enough interest in this activity, it'll be our last meeting. So if you want to do this, you have to text or call Sherry Silver. She's asked not to be emailed, so please don't email her. She doesn't like email. All right, so hope all of the readers among you will join us, and you will be emailed a Zoom link. Stay well, my friends, till we meet again. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. By the way, if you don't know Sherry's phone number to text or email, you can always email us. Yeah. Rabbi Cantor at templemet.org or Diana or anybody. We're all around. What? His meditation class. Okay, you just heard it from a fellow meditator. And by the way, it's not Jewish meditation. It's Asian meditation.
Asian meditation. Sorry,
Eastern.
Roger. Eastern meditation. Sorry, Roger. It's a great
Eastern.
class. And if you want to attend that meditation class, Roger does it every Monday. What else?
7 o'clock. And once again, if you need the information, just email us.
Oh, and there's one more thing, of course, the Sisterhood Luncheon on the 15th. Those of you who have ordered your meal, the Zoom link is on it, and we're looking for. Okay. Okay, great. So
Okay.
we're looking for the Sisterhood Luncheon. Next year, in person, maybe.
We could almost do it this year in person. Great. 65 people are going to Rock and Brews. We could almost do it in person. It's a very ironic thing that we can't have people here eating like we've done in the past. So I had to smile to myself, actually more than smile, that there is a force in the universe that guides us. We're so grateful to those of you who have come this evening for your very first time, most particularly because this evening, the Friday, the first Shabbat following Cinco de Mayo, has always been our very first new member open house. And Sue Jones would pay for the taco truck. So we were like, okay, we'll just wait till July or August to have new member open houses, and we'll just go drink and have margarita merriness at Red Onion. And then look, you came anyway. So even if we don't have the taco truck, God still wants you to join us and be a part of our community. There is more. Oh, yes. Okay. We're going to...
Okay, you thought you were through with me.
I want mine.
I'm sorry, I'm back.
Get used to it.
I got us a gift. Our new people particularly make sure that you get one of these pens. It says Temple Emet and has our phone number and our address and our website on it. And this is a gift that is from me to you. And it's also going to be at the congregation meeting. For those who won't be at the congregation meeting, take one. But you can take one tonight if you want. So don't forget to take your Temple Emet pen.
Thank you. And as you can see, we do it differently. We're passing out pens on Shabbat for you to write with. That being said, we're going to bless one another with the Birkat Kohanim. Please rise as you can either, if you're in your family pod, put your arms around your loved one, or you can put it up in the air and feel the vibration. The parsha for Jeremy's bar mitzvah is Naso, where this blessing is. So please come for the fabulous treat that will be the brand new verses of Torah that Jeremy has to learn in the next couple of weeks. So take a deep breath in, deep breath out. We ask that God be with us at this time. We are grateful for our new friends that have come, even though we did not officially make it a new member open house. It's always a new member open house here at Temple Emet. We're thrilled to have you. And we ask that blessing rain down upon us, that we are able to take the rest that is so needed to nourish our souls and our being, and not the enforced rest of COVID or illness, but the rest that really regenerates and revives our being. Yevarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichunecha. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. Came here on own may be God's will. May God bless you and keep you. May God's countenance shine upon you. And may God be with you always and grant you peace. And so now our closing song, Adon Olam, 625, I believe, in your books, if you need it, 625. Let me see if that's what it is, yeah. Adon Olam, Hashem alach, v'terem kol, Yetzir nivra, le'ed nasa, v'cheso kol, azay melech, shemo nigra. If you're going to the Red Onion, please skedaddle. They want us to order. Tell them that you're with Diana Wolf's party, but they don't want us to overload the kitchen. So get there and order. Right? That's what they want us to do. Okay, so everyone fill up that first table of 12. I will see you there. Shabbat Shalom. Thank you, and thank you to our wonderful musicians. Be sure to watch the Mother's Day, either on Mother's Day or another time. Shabbat Shalom.